Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we catch up with the World Contraception Day Ambassadors. I'm Lauren Rankin, the Senior Communications Associate at Women Deliver, and I will be your moderator today. I am so excited to introduce you to this incredible class. You may have already met them, and if you haven't, get ready for a real treat. So the World Contraception Day Ambassadors Project was launched in 2015 in support of World Contraception Day. The Women Deliver and our partners at Bayer teamed up with youth advocates from across the globe to use digital storytelling to uncover the state of young people's sexual and reproductive health and rights. We have 5 of the 6 World Contraception Day ambassadors with us today, and they're going to share some insight into their projects, the state of contraception access in their countries and globally, and any advice they have for the next class. If you have any thoughts, if you're watching and you want to interact with us, please feel free to use the hashtag WCDstories. I'm going to start with Khadija. Khadija, can you please introduce yourself and your project?
Hi, okay, thank you, Lauren. My name is Khadija Sunanan. I am from Trinidad and Tobago, and I was not sure because we have the next class coming up, the World Contraception Day Ambassador for Latin America and the Caribbean. My project was framed, of course, as a digital storytelling project. For my project, I wanted to focus heavily on marginalized youth voices. So the key demographic I wanted to look at was LGBTQI young people, as well as young people from poorer, more rural communities. It was an amazing experience. I focused heavily on documenting stories from my country, Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Belize. As far as I could get to Latin America and Caribbean in 3 months. But it was amazing. Like, I really learned a lot. Personally, debunked a lot of myths I had going in, just in terms of interacting with young people, and I was able to really get some amazing qualitative data on how young people, the experiences young people have had in accessing contraception in Latin America and the Caribbean. That's basically it.
That's so fantastic. Thank you, Khadija. We're going to hear from Gavansa in Georgia. Gavansa? Oh, Gavansa, I think we're having a little bit of trouble with your line. Just 1 second. We're going to come back to you. I want to turn it over to Tushi. Tushi, can you introduce yourself and your project?
Right. Hi everyone. I'm Vijayanand Dushendra, and I'm one of the global youth advocate in the field of sexual and reproductive health in Sri Lanka. In 2015, I was appointed as World Contraception Day Ambassador for Asia. So that was a really interesting experience for me because I was working in the field of sexual rights for like 6 to 7 years. So like I got the opportunity to work with different kind of young people, especially young people living with HIV, young sex workers, and like different kind of marginalized young people. So one of the interesting group come across young people with disabilities. So like when I started to do this project, because in Sri Lanka, a lot of organizations, there are a lot of initiative working already for the disabled young people's employment rights, so like economic empowerment, but there is no initiative to work on sexual reproductive health rights of disabled young people. So that was my intention to initiate a lot of discussion on sexual and reproductive health rights of disabled young people. So when I was starting the project, I had one intention in my mind, initiating meaningful discussion. But while I was working, a lot of people considering young people with disabilities as asexuals. People do not have same desires or feelings. So like I also wanted to break that stereotype thinking through my project. So it came in a very nice way and had a successful outcome. So I'm looking forward to share those during this discussion. Thank you.
That's fantastic, thank you so much. We're going to go back to Gavansa now. Gavansa, I'd love to hear from you to introduce your project.
Hi, thank you, Lauren. My name is Gavansa and I'm from Georgia. My project was called A Story Map of Youth Voices. And basically, I wanted to concentrate on Georgia, but be very inclusive, because a lot of times when there are some projects or trainings happening, in Georgia about sexual reproductive health and rights. It's always concentrated in a city, so in a capital, and a lot of times young people from rural areas are not included. So I mapped the whole country, and I worked in east to west to north to south, everywhere, conducting trainings, and through the trainings collecting stories of young people from different regions. The end product of my project was to create a website and also a social media a page to spread the stories. It's mainly short stories, and I also created 6 small videos. And by the end of the project, after the 3 months, I had an exhibition in Georgia, as well as now a week ago, an exhibition at the International AIDS Conference 2016 in Durban. It was very interesting for me because it was really, I've been in this field for now 10 years, and to look at how things have changed throughout the years and what are the needs and concerns of young people when it comes to sexual and reproductive health and rights, including contraception.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I want to head over to Kra Modeste. Kra, you want to take it away, introduce your project?
Okay. Sorry. Hi, I'm Kra Modeste, and I'm from Cote d'Ivoire, and I'm World Contraception Day Ambassador for West and Central Africa region with my colleague, Ambassador. Yes, as part of World Contraception Ambassador program, I have developed the program we call Our New Voice on Contraception. That's a bit to raise awareness among young people on sexual and reproductive health. And during the project has been launched during the International Youth Day in 2015, and at the end we have collected more than 16 photos and 6 videos with young people. And now what will be most important of the project is our involvement in national advocacy program about sexual and reproductive health for adults and young people. Yes, this last week we have worked with national partners to introduce the bill for sexual and reproductive health with local parliamentaries. And now we are also invited to join the National Coalition, Civil Society Coalition, for the advocacy for access, young people and all the other population access to health services. Yes, and yes, we are now ready for the next generation. I hope the next scope of ambassadors to provide technical support we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kra. And last but certainly not least is our former Women Deliver Young leader, Mary. You want to introduce your World Contraception Day Ambassadors project, please? Oh, Mary, I think we can't quite hear you, so we're going to come right back to you. We're going to figure out your microphone, and then we're going to move from there. So as you can see, all of our World Contraception Day Ambassadors are doing really incredible work to expand contraception access and access to sexual and reproductive health and rights in really innovative and interesting ways, and also intersectional ways, incorporating disability rights and LGBT young people. It's really sort of a cross-sectional way of looking at this really important issue. And I think what's really important is to understand that this work goes on for all of them. So I want to sort of have all of you talk about what's really cool is that this was a project with sort of a beginning and an end date, but this is work that you were doing this work long before this project started. So I would love to hear from all of you about how digital storytelling and visual media sort of brought a new element into your advocacy work. And Mary, I'm going to try and start with you so you can introduce your project, and we can hear you talk. I think you're unmuted now. I hope that you are. Mary, do you want to give it a shot? We're still having trouble with you. I'm not quite sure why. So we're going to come back to you, but I would like to go to Khadija actually on this, because your work is sort of cross-cutting and you've been doing this work before you were a Women Deliver Young Leader. So I'd love to hear from you about before you even started your World Contraception Day Ambassadors project, how digital and visual media brought a new element into your work. Khadija?
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for the question. I think a lot of the times we take for granted, youth advocates even take for granted what it means to develop projects around young people. Very often when you work with policymakers and things like that, they tend to design things around how they feel it should look without really consulting with young people or taking into account what young people respond to. And I think the digital in this project, in the sense that where ordinarily a project would involve collecting data quantitatively and putting something out, and advocacy has looked like that for a long time, traditionally. So I've worked in other organizations, in my own organization, where there's always a very heavy focus on statistics, and this amount of young people did this, and 14% this, etc., etc. And the data doesn't speak to young people, and very often, sometimes it doesn't even speak about young people. So including a digital media component that could kind of be transferred to all these different spaces like social media and Vine and Tumblr and all of these young people spaces, kind of just now felt like you're engaging with young people in a more comprehensive real life way, rather than just creating something about them that they're not really participating in. So that, I think, was probably one of the most significant parts of it, like using a format that young people really respond to, that they engage with, and just getting into a young person's space and meeting them on their own terms. And that changed because ordinarily we don't do advocacy like that a lot of the times.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. And Mary, I think we might have your microphone finally figured out. So I'd love to hear you introduce your project and respond to what Khadijah's saying about meeting young people where they are and the mediums where they exist, so that we can really bring advocacy and bring young people into advocacy in different ways. Mary, let's try it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, great.
Yeah. Oh, good, finally. Okay, so hi, my name is Mary, and I am one of the 2015 World Contraception Day Ambassadors. And my project focused on collecting stories of young people in the UAE and in Kenya, and showcasing them or sharing them on a platform that I created, which is a blog called Youthful Gatherings. And through these stories that I shared there, I got different responses from different young people in Kenya and in the UAE. And I think from where I sit, especially in Middle East, it's very interesting to meet young people and, you know, kind of talk about sexual reproductive health and rights, which is such a taboo topic to talk about in the Middle East. And it's kind of hush-hush when they talk about it. But these conversations happen within the circles that young people exist in, and that's what Khadija is trying to say, meeting them where they are. And most often than not, they are on social media. I mean, think about it. Someone like Donald Trump, how much impact is he having on Twitter? And that's where young people are, and the young people are the ones who are going to vote. So when you talk about sexual reproductive health and rights, young people are on social media, young people, especially the ones in rural areas, at least each one of them, I know for sure in developing countries, a lot of young people are on Facebook, that's at least on Facebook. So these are the places that you need to share information, critical information about their sexual reproductive health and rights that would help them, and that would go a long way in their lives. So yes, using digital media and using images, like Gvanta's stories that she collected, images that speak to the real individuals and people who are just regular people on the streets, regular people who are just like you. That was very important to showcase this kind of images, as well as to as CRA's projects too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I think what both of you are getting at here is sort of the meeting young people where they are, and social media allows you to do that. And I'd like to hear a little bit more, especially because Tushi's project focused on a specific community of young people. I'd like to hear about how digital media and digital storytelling allows you to engage and allowed you to engage with and advocate for contraception access for young people with disabilities, because that's a community that often is left out of these discussions, as you've so smartly noted. And I would love to hear from you, Tushi, sort of about how you think digital storytelling and digital media, that component of your World Contraception Day Ambassadors project, allowed you to connect with this community in a new way.
Right, because as I earlier said, I was working in this field for 6 to 7 years, but I mean, we have to realize this social media itself, it's a society now. So like different young people live there, and we have a very good access. Within like seconds, we can communicate to a lot of young people. And within like, I mean, just to update from a Facebook status, you can reach like thousands of people. So that's the power of social media, and we can use for good thing and bad things. So I thought like we can use for some good things and like carry that message towards different people. So like when this is a really interesting thing, because I made a short film, like 6 minute short film. And that in the short film, when I was doing the short film, because I went to the ground level and actually recorded the real young people experience in the disabled young people experience, and I brought to the short film format. And that as I said, like a lot of people believe like disabled young people kind of asexual and they don't have feelings and desire. So through my short film, I try to communicate a message where, I mean, young people with disabilities also have sexual feelings, and they also can have a normal life like other people. So that message, I mean, I didn't expect to receive this much of positive response, because I mean, we also have shared that film through Viber and WhatsApp, other social networks. So it reached many people, and like in I think the YouTube, it has around 30,000 views, and the Facebook around it's around 250,000 people have watched. So that's a massive amount of people actually watched and shared and initiate discussions.
Absolutely.
So I think that is a really good. And for me, for like digital storytelling, it's also equipped with different kind of tools in me. So like it helped me to communicate to different people in different levels. So I see that as a really good element I learned through this project.
That's fantastic, Tushi. And I'm really glad to hear that. It sort of sounds like you're already hinting at where I wanted to go with this conversation, which is what are the biggest successes of your project? And having those number of views and reaching that number of young people is a huge victory and a success for communicating about this really important issue. So, Gvanta, I'd love to hear from you about what you feel like some of the biggest successes of your project were, tangible things that your World Contraception Day Ambassadors project was able to achieve, and what you feel the biggest successes of your project were. I'd love to hear from you about that.
Thank you, Lauren. Again, I think I want to point out a couple different areas. As a World Contraception Day Ambassador for Eastern Europe and Asia, one of the World Contraception Day Ambassadors project gave to, I think, each and every ambassador is that come from different backgrounds. We all work in different fields. For me, I'm a medical doctor and I work in the public health field. So I never really tried digital storytelling, and I never been equipped with the tools to every day every day I meet young people, every day I talk about the issues. I never really had the opportunity to voice it in with a digital way, because I had all the stories accumulated, but I didn't know how to share it on the different platforms. So one very, very positive thing that this project gave me, and I think a lot of to most of us, was that we were able to tell the stories that we already knew, that we are advocating for years and years. But this, with the digital story, we were able to really reach those who and give our the issues that are happening to young people in terms of SRHR and contraception. We were really able to tell those to a larger audience. And the second is very important, that I think for me it gave me the freedom to tell what are really the, because as an independent youth-led project, we were given, and me personally, I was given the opportunity to go deeper and not be limited into the issues that are happening, and especially when it goes to the very taboo topics like contraception in Georgia, and especially in rural areas. Through digital stories, it was easier to talk to young. So those are two main things that I think for this project gave, not only to tell other young people stories, but as a personally for me as an ambassador, it gave me the how to say it equipped me with something very, very powerful.
That's fantastic, Mansa. Thank you. And Mary, I would like to hear from you sort of about how what some of the successes you feel like you accomplished with your project, and as Mansa said, what you feel like this project gave you. If you feel like you acquired any tools from it, or you feel like how you feel like this project has equipped you going forward to continue to work on issues like this.
Thanks, Lauren. I think, first of all, from just the very beginning, the training that we had in April was very useful. The different apps that we were given, the different softwares that
can you explain what that was really quickly, Mary? Can you explain to everyone what that training was like? Because I think it would be really useful for people to understand.
Okay, so in April, all of us were, we were flown to Women Deliver in New York, and we met with the team that was doing this project, Sarah and Matt, and we sat down through a very rigorous workshop sessions that we were trained on how to use different platforms, and how to use different platforms to collect data, to record videos, to take pictures, and how to be effective at that, how to use Twitter more effectively, how to use Instagram more effectively, what kind of software you need to be able to collect qualitative and quantitative data at the same time, as well, and what, and how to transform this data into impactful statements that you can share with young people as well. So that was the training basically. And I really enjoyed that part because I learned to use a lot of software that I didn't know how to use before, which was very useful. And also we had Matt that was always, he was always on call if you had a problem with your camera, or you needed to use a certain, a certain tool to take a video or something like that, which was very useful throughout the project. So,
and how do you feel? Really how do you feel like that led, Mary? How do you feel like that led to an actual tangible success from your project? You had these tools, and what kind of an accomplishment or success? What kind of tangible thing were you able to achieve?
Okay, for instance, when it comes to using Twitter in a blog, you could take the tweets that people had tweeted about it and then kind of write short comments or commentaries on it, and also pictures. Visuals are more better than just having prose or narratives that go on and on and on. So pictures were very powerful. That's one of the things that I took from there. And also videos should be short, about 3 to 4 minutes. And for me, that was very useful because I had really long videos of people talking and talking, and I had to go through a very rigorous process of kind of editing each and every one to small bits that are very useful. And I think the rest of the ambassadors can agree with me on this one, because we had lots and lots of content on this. And also collecting, I had a survey out that about 50 young people filled, who majority were girls. And for me, it mattered a lot to have a lot of girls in Kenya fill out this survey, because the place I come from, most of my friends actually ended up being pregnant, and I don't have any friends that are either not pregnant or they had a problem with their sexual reproductive health and rights from before. So it was very important for me to reach to them in a very effective way.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think what I would really love to hear, so you received these seed grant projects, or these seed grants, right, from Women Deliver and Bayer, provided with generous support by Bayer, to sort of expand contraception access. And what I would really like to hear is what kind of an impact you think that that project and that grant has made in your community and made on you all as advocates, but really what kind of an impact have you seen in your community? And I'd love to hear from Kra on this, about how he feels, what do you feel the greatest impact of this project has been for you? Have you seen any tangible change in your community?
Thank you. Yes. First of all, something I want to add to the impact of it is for myself. I think with this project, I've come more closer with social media that I have even before me, because I have started using Twitter and more Facebook for the advocacy program. That was let's say something I was using before the project. So that is one thing I just want to mention before the impact. And the next thing is about young people themselves with whom I work. Let's say that in my community, most of the time, sexual and reproductive health, let's say family planning, is not the concerns of young people. So the first thing is to start a discussion with young people about sexual and reproductive health before talking about advocacy programs. So with this program, we have trained more than 25 young people, 12 boys and 13 girls, with the age from 18 to 25. So that means that they can now be like a leader in their groups, and talking about contraception, about family planning with their peers. The second thing is the discussion that has started now with partners and even local government institutions about the bill. Now they have now started advocacy to pass a bill for family planning and other sexual and reproductive health service provided, even and client. So I think that is also and I have especially been invited by partners to be part of this group as representative of young people, and I think is also about what we have done with the project. Even I can say also that I have be in touch with E2A Action. They have another activity here in next September. So I have also been invited to attend, to be the representative of young people in the working group to set up this program.
That is so fantastic, Kra. That's great.
Thank you.
Those are two really tangible things. I'm really glad to hear that.
Wow, thank you. So yes, the project, although we cannot change everything at one time, but I think that this program, we have started a discussion on sexual and reproductive health for young people, and it's continuing. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Kra. That's wonderful. I really want to hear from Tushi on this too, because there's been some progress, I think, in your community and around this issue. So I'd love to hear from you about what kind of an impact you think it's made, and ways that you feel like this project has sort of shifted the map, if at all. Tushi?
Mm-hmm. Right. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So I just want to talk about this. I really like the way this project was organized. So we get a very good training, in-depth training on how to use, because before making this film, I never had any experience on working in digital storytelling or making film. But it gave a really good platform to analyze. It gave a lot of skills for me actually. And then this project also, after the training, it has a really good follow-up. So not only follow-up, because we also have to write a lot of blogs in our website, World Contraception Day Ambassador website. So I think not only doing the work, we also have to show what kind of work we are doing. So for the Women Deliver, that really helped us to showcase our work. And not only that, we also got the opportunity to attend Women Deliver World Conference in Denmark. So that's also a really good opportunity for us to showcase our work. So that's a really good thing as I see from my project. And in my in Sri Lanka, because now I can say that because through this project, we have initiated meaningful discussion among sexual and reproductive health rights of disabled young people among key stakeholders. So I had that intention in my mind, because earlier a lot of organizations, as I said, they are working on different areas, but they haven't thought about sexual reproductive health rights of disabled young people. So I don't say it has shifted many things, but at least making that discussion even in the online and in the key government stakeholders like Family Health Bureau in Sri Lanka and United Nations Population Fund. So I got a lot of opportunity to, after seeing this film, they invited me, what we are talking about, what are the issues you have. So then I have directed youth activists, disabled rights through this, and I also got a lot of opportunity to discuss these things about a lot of universities and in different parts of university and screening that film, and based on that initiating a discussion. So I see that as a really good information opportunity gave to us by BEA and Women Deliver.
That's wonderful. I think what I'm getting from all of you is the ways that this project helped you sort of begin this conversation or move this conversation forward. And I'd love to have you all just sort of have a brief, free-flowing conversation on how you got interested in sexual and reproductive health and rights, and how you got interested in contraception access. What made you want to be a World Contraception Day ambassador? And I'd love to start with Khadija, but feel free to sort of interact with each other on this for a few minutes, because I think you all know each other, you've all worked together, and you all have a lot of really wonderful things to say. So Khadija, what got you interested in this?
Initially, I worked with a nonprofit that focused on maternal health and improving maternal health. And it's just a very natural segue, because I'm a young person, a young woman, to talk about contraceptives and access to contraceptives, especially in a region where sometimes it could be a taboo subject depending on who you're talking to. So it was a very easy transition for me, because I was always focused on issues of social justice and rights. and access to what is really a basic human right, really. This is really shouldn't be something that we need to have, like all of this advocacy around, but there continues to be a need. So, you know, I got into it, and in terms of getting into the project, I have, as a 2013 Women Deliver Youth Ambassador, young leader, I was really excited to have the opportunity to work with Women Deliver again, because I think what is really special about this platform is that it was youth-led and youth-focused. At no point in time did you feel like, you know, you had to present this particular narrative, or, you know, you had to go with this particular way. It was really a very unusual opportunity where an organization supported young people with real resources, and them lengthened, like, go out there, tell these stories, and bring it back to us, and let's see what young people are saying about it. So it was an exceptional opportunity, and I really look forward to what's going to come in the next round of WCD Ambassadors.
Me too, and we will be announcing them on International Youth Day, which is August 12th, so please stay tuned for that. I can't wait. Mary, what about you? What got you interested in contraception and sexual and reproductive health and rights?
Okay, first of all, just by the virtue that I am a young person, I'm a girl, that in itself is interest enough for me to go out and look for information about sexual reproductive health and rights. And secondly is I was a young leader in 2013 for Women Deliver with the cohort of Khadija as well. And I was working heavily on HIV/AIDS awareness in my community. And so organically, I was already working on sexual reproductive health rights and services. So this got me very interested into working, especially with young people, because young people get affected the most, and in my community, young people are affected the most. So there was no choice but to be interested in this. Yeah, and I have a good social media presence, and why not use that to spread some, you know, positive awareness or information that would actually be useful in someone's life. So that's how I got interested. So it was kind of an organic transition from what I was already working on into the World Contraception Day project.
That's fantastic. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? Gwansa, what about you? Let's hear from you. What got you interested in this?
My story is really long because I was a pre-med student, and I became a peer educator for sexual and reproductive health and rights through the UNFPA peer educator project. And why I got involved into this project was because a lot of my friends, when we were teenagers, were getting pregnant and having unintended pregnancies, and I saw a lot of inequalities in terms of accessing the services for young people, and I really felt that it was not right. And basically that's how I started. I saw that it was unjust for young people to be always stigmatized and also not getting access to a comprehensive sexuality education in my country. So all of those, and as a young woman, for me, it was really important to look into those issues and say, how can I fix this? And of course, I was given the opportunity to become Women Deliver 100 Young Leaders program, part of the program, and that impacted me a lot to work on the issues more, not only on a local level but also on a global level, and start more global advocacy work. So that was basically how I became World Contraception Day Ambassador.
That's so great. And we only have time for one more brief question, but I would love to hear from each of you just one quick hope or thought or word of advice that you have for the next incoming class of 2016 World Contraception Day Ambassadors, and just one quick thought from each of you. We're going to start with Tushi. I'd love to hear your well wish or your word of advice. Tushi?
Right. My advice is, I mean, don't imagine things. You really go to the field and find out what where the young people are. So you have to go to the field and collect things, and you are going to face a lot of challenges. I guarantee you. Take as a challenge and I mean move forward. That only brings the real stuff from the real community.
Oh, Tushi, that's wonderful. Mary, what about you?
Yeah, I was actually just going to say what Tushi said. So I was shaking my head frantically. Yes, yes. But no, seriously though, when it comes to sexual reproductive health, stories are very individual, and it's important that you get those stories in their organic form and in their realized form. So just let people be, let them talk about what they believe in. Don't imagine it, like Tushi just said. So take it as it is, because these are the real stories out there, and they need to be told as is, not on a policy paper somewhere or something like that. No, just as is. And these are young people who exist, and they're out there.
Yeah, that's great. Kra, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, what I just want to say to the next World Contraception Day Ambassadors, I just want them to be like, there are many problems about sexual and reproductive health in each community. That I just want them to tackle the only one they can, even if as small as it can be. They just want to tackle only one thing, because they don't have to dream so much. Maybe if not, they could maybe not have the success for the project. And next thing, welcome, and let's continue the work.
That's great, Kra. Thank you. Khadija, what about you?
Well, first of all, I endorse all of the good advice from the fellow ambassadors. I think having done it, they really gave some excellent advice. My advice, in addition to that, would be to pay attention to the intersections in your story and in the stories that people are telling. Sexual and reproductive rights are one canon of rights, and they intersect with all different realities of race, of class, of poverty, of all different types of social justice. And it's very difficult to tell people's story if you just focus on one silo. So really listen to the fullness of somebody's story, and don't be afraid to represent that. Different people have different realities, and try to represent that as fully as you can in telling your stories. That's my advice.
That's wonderful. Vansa, last but never least.
I cannot agree more to all of the fellow ambassadors. Only thing that I can add is that prepare for a very incredible journey. For me, it was very empowering, and I think for all of us and for all the young people that participated, told their stories, there were many young people that you can reach. And for me, it was so incredible not only doing this in Eastern Europe, people reaching out to me from different countries and asking me for questions. So just get ready for a very journey, and do your best.
That's great. So I noticed we do have a question from the audience. So I would love to direct that to you guys. Keep your answers short, but this viewer is interested in knowing what the biggest challenges that you faced in this project were. And I think that's a really great question, because every project and every advocacy effort does have a challenge or multiple challenges, and it's important to acknowledge them and overcome them. So I'd love for each of you, just really quickly, if you have one, to sort of share what that is. Do any of you have one that you want to start with? Please feel free to jump in.
Collaboration. Like I think if it is you're going into the project, try and reach out very early in the game to different organizations that share skill sets that may not necessarily be similar to yours, but have the same politics that you're going into for your project, because it's going to be hard to manage all of these different capacities. So editing, documenting stories, writing, doing project proposals. So try and develop a strong network early in the game because it's very interdisciplinary, this project. It's going to call on several capacities, so try and develop some strongness before you go into it.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone else want to either echo Khadijah's sentiments or have a unique challenge of your own? Kra, I think you're trying to speak. Kra, do you have something?
Yes, one other thing I want to add as its advocacy program is about a local institution, government institution, how to have them with you. That is also a big thing sometimes we face because of maybe you can have a situation with political instability in the country or another things that can happen during the implementation of the program. So that's way it can be sometimes difficult to manage the program and also to have the political parties with you, and maybe the implementation next ambassadors can take care about this situation if it have happened with them.
Definitely. Tushi, is there anything unique that you sort of noticed?
Ambassadors said like what I wanted to say. There was the challenges. Yeah, I mean collaboration. As Kara also said, I mean you have to get the government on board. Like if you are running a huge project, and because for me it's kind of I mean I have to represent whole Asia, so that was a very big challenge because I was born in Sri Lanka and I know Sri Lanka very well, but to represent whole Asia was a very big challenge. So I mean that will be a very big challenge to handle, I guess, for ambassadors, coming ambassadors.
Absolutely. Is there anyone else who wants to answer this viewer's question? If you feel like you have anything unique to add, or please feel free to jump in now. Otherwise, oh, great, Vansa, wonderful.
So I think being realistic, for me, I was a bit more dreaming that I will go and collect the stories, and young people will just open up and just talk to me. It is not realistic because it is still a taboo. It's still a taboo topic. There are not a lot of young people who are openly able to talk about it. So and also like protecting the privacy of young people. If they don't want to talk to you, there is nothing you can do. So I think that was the first biggest challenge for me that led me to start a collaboration. As Khadijah just mentioned, it's very important to get on the ground and create collaborations and create the networks of young people who are willing to help you to uncover more stories. So yeah, that's a key important thing that for me was a challenge in the beginning that I overcame after.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that you overcame that. Well, I want to say thank you so much to all of the 2015 World Contraception Day Ambassadors, Vansa, Khadijah, Kra, Mary, and Tushi. We're so proud of all that you guys have done, and thank you for your continued dedication to this work. As you all may or may not know, we are launching a new class of World Contraception Day Ambassadors. We're announcing that on August 12th, which is also International Youth Day. We're really excited to see how they carry the torch from this incredible group, including Marlene, who isn't here with us. We're really, really pleased to see how they're going to carry the torch forward from 2015 into 2016. I would like to thank all of you for watching, and please know that if you are interested in learning more about the World Contraception Day Ambassadors Project, you can visit wcdambassadors.com and learn more about the project overall, and you can learn about each individual project. There's some really amazing tools and resources on there for you. And please know that if you want to follow along on Twitter as we move forward with this project, or if you have any questions, you can tweet with us at #WCDstories. The conversation continues, and as does the work. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in, and thank you to our wonderful World Contraception Day Ambassadors. Thanks. Until next time, signing off.